What's going on, Dolphins fans? Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. Hope everybody watching is having themselves a good day, a good Monday. And we have the off season fully upon us, and we have the free agency market coming very quickly here. And we have some news here regarding 5-star running backs that it looks like they're going to be testing free agency. We're going to be talking about a lot pertaining to the draft and free agency in these upcoming few months. So if there's any players or position groups or situations you'd like to hear us talk about, please let me know down below in the comments who those guys are, what's going on. Let me know your thoughts, as well as if you'd like to see individual videos on the guys I'm about to talk about here today. Make sure to hit that like button and let me know who you would like to see the Miami Dolphins sign most out of the 5 that I'm going to talk about today. So the 5 that I am referring to, that it looks like, per Adam Schefter, that it looks like they're going to be hitting the free agency market, and that is Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Austin Ekeler, Derrick Henry, and Tony Pollard. All 5 of those, it looks like their teams are electing to not franchise tag them, and it looks like they're going to be testing the free agency market. So what this does not mean is that these 5 guys are 1,000,000% going to be on another team next year. This means that, just simply put, that 1-year franchise tag, that, once you get hit with it, you're not going anywhere for at least 1 year. We've seen guys try to get out of it, and we've seen, guys throw fits and hold out. But and that's something that we potentially see, hopefully not the holdout part, but we potentially see Christian Wilkins get slapped with a franchise tag for the Miami Dolphins. But these 5 guys, these star running backs that at certain points in their careers, even last year, have seen tremendous success, and I think could be a big help to this Miami Dolphins team. It is looking like those 5 guys are going to be available hitting the free agency market. Now, you look at those 5 guys, and there's a lot of different types of running backs amongst them. Josh Jacobs was the rushing champion a few years back with the Las Vegas Raiders with a bad offensive line, and he just found a way to get it done. Is really between the tackles runner, north and south. He's a little bit shorter, a little bit more undersized than maybe like your traditional bigger back that you think about when you're going to give him the workload like Josh Jacobs handles, but he still has gotten it done and is a top tier running back still in this league coming off of his rookie deal. You have Saquon Barkley, who is absolutely electric, can make plays all over the field, can make plays in space, can make plays between the tackles. You can line him up wide. You can ask him to do almost anything you would want from a running back. We have seen him with injury issues, and this year was one of his more healthy seasons. He did miss a few games early on in the season, but still a very serviceable guy. Austin Ekeler, of the 5, is definitely the least intriguing guy. If I'm not mistaken, either he or Derrick Henry are the oldest amongst these guys, and we've seen his rushing numbers go down. He's coming off of one of his worst seasons as a pro, and is beloved in the fantasy football community up until this last season, but he's always been more of a fantasy football option, somebody that you love to have on your team in fantasy football, but has not ever been regarded really as a top 5, probably even top 10 running back in this game. But he's been pretty underpaid throughout his career so far, so Austin Ekeler is probably trying to get as much money as he can possibly get while he's coming down to the downslope of his career. Probably of the 5, he is the guy that I'd be least enthusiastic for the Miami Dolphins to sign. And then that brings us to Derrick Henry, which of the bunch I think would be my number 1 option. Big body, run between the tackles, has not really lost a step. That Tennessee Titans offense, that offensive line there has gotten significantly worse in the last few years, and I think that's partially responsible for the decline in his game over the last few years, which truly has been minimal. He's truly not really lost a step yet. We see time and time again with running backs, they eventually hit a wall, and then it's not a gradual decline, it's a fall off the cliff like we saw with Ezekiel Elliott. We have not seen that yet with him. He keeps his body in great shape, and he is a really good contrast to what we see in Devon Achane. So if you have those 2 in the backfield together, that'd be tasty. I'd love to see us bring in Derrick Henry. And then finally, Tony Pollard, and I'll just keep it real with you guys. I am a little bit biased when it comes to Tony Pollard, as I have Tony Pollard in 2 of my dynasty leagues, my only 2 dynasty leagues, that be. And I still believe in Tony Pollard. We saw 2 years ago at the end of the season, he really came into his own as a home run hitter, a big play guy, and that's what got a lot of people interested in him in potentially being a RB1 in both fantasy football and in just regular football sense. And we saw that this last season with the Dallas Cowboys allowing Ezekiel Elliott to walk. And then they then gave the keys to Tony Pollard to be their RB1, their workhorse back. And we saw it live in person in Miami, where he was not able to get into the end zone, which what seemed like a walk-in touchdown. And the rushing numbers were not quite there. And most importantly, when it comes to Tony Pollard, the home run shots weren't there. Those big explosive plays where we saw him in the second half of the 2022 season lead the league in yards per touch out of the running back position, we saw that completely revert back to pre-second half of 2022 Tony Pollard. A lot of that, I believe, has to do with the fact that he was coming off a pretty significant leg injury where he had a broken leg and had to undergo surgery with that, as well as a high ankle sprain going into the offseason. And then unlike Breece Hall, who missed the first 4 games of the season, we saw, actually, did Breece Hall miss any time at all? I don't believe Breece Hall actually missed any time at all. Never mind. But we saw him come in straight away, not miss any time, and come back and be thrusted into the lineup when he probably was not 100%. We also saw it similar to Breece Hall, who, yeah, if I now remember correctly, Breece Hall actually played every single game last year as far as I can remember. And both of them from the get-go weren't 100%, and then they were asked to carry a strong workload. He was asked to carry a stronger workload in the sense of the offense was on the field more. He was given the ball more than Breece Hall was. And I just don't believe that he was ever fully 100% last year. I think he still has that big playability, which is something that I can see the Miami Dolphins and Mike McDaniel take advantage of with a player like his. I was a big fan of Miami Dolphins signing him last offseason. Obviously, he got tagged by the Dallas Cowboys, and that didn't happen. But he's now entering free agency, as well as those other 4 guys. And I think this is a great opportunity for the Miami Dolphins to get an extremely talented player for a very low cut rate. I think that the running back position is just continuing to be devalued in the NFL. We've seen Jonathan Taylor and CMC get their contracts, but beyond them, it's really spare change when it looks what it looks like for the running back position. I mean, the Giants refusing to tag Saquon Barkley, which would be $12 million per season, when last year he was certainly their best offensive player across the board. All these guys really, either at some points in their careers or even last year, were the best players on the offensive side of the ball for their respective teams. And teams are reluctant to pay these guys even $12, $13 million. I think this is a great opportunity for the Miami Dolphins to continue to stack to this offense, to continue to get high-level players, maybe some guys that are on the downslope of their career and just have a little bit juice left in the tank and could potentially help a team get over the edge for the Dolphins situation, win a playoff game, hopefully get to and win a Super Bowl. I want as many talented players out on the field at all times as possible. And you look at this core of 5 guys, there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of ability in there. They all do things very differently, and some would complement this team better than others. Some would juxtapose what we currently have in the running back game more than others. But there's versatility there, there's talent there, there's experience there. And I would love to see the Miami Dolphins sign one of these 5 guys. If I'm going to rank them in order, just off the top of my head here, I'd probably go Derrick Henry, Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, and then Austin Ekeler. And Austin Ekeler significantly being in last place. I believe those top 4 guys are all closer to each other than Austin Ekeler all the way down here at the bottom. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he still does have something to offer. Let me know down in the comments which one you would like, and we are likely to be doing videos on all 5 of these guys, assuming they do not end up getting tagged like Adam Schefter is reporting. Let me know what you want the Dolphins to do with the running back position down below in the comments. Let me know what you think of these 5 guys. Are they washed? Would you pay them? Do you think it's better to go the route of getting a cheaper running back and kind of forego the star at that position? Or are you kind of like me where you're seeing the tide swayed a little too far in the direction of not paying running backs and not valuing running backs? Let me know down below. Also hit that subscribe button down there and that like button. We thank y'all very much for watching today. If you have any sort of video ideas or topics like I mentioned earlier on in the video that you'd like to see us cover as pertains to the Miami Dolphins in the offseason, let me know down below in the comments. But till then, that's all for me. Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. Hope all y'all have a great rest of your day. Take care, everybody.